Hi everybody, welcome to the Mom Series. My name is Maria. Thank you for joining me today. Um, Wishing everybody a peaceful and um, best as it could be 20-year Memorial Day for all those that were remembering today, 20-year anniversary of September 11th, right? And I hope you've taken time to reflect and you're in a good place in your mind, body, and spirit. And whatever way you've expressed your thoughts about what happened 20 years ago, what's happening now, any fears you might still have regarding sudden terror. I like to rely on Psalm 91 for sudden terror. I like to remind myself that there's more good people than people that are plotting evil in the world. And I kind of look at it like, and I guess this is kind of difficult to fathom, but for myself, I look at it like the flash floods that are going on in the world today in weird places and everywhere, with not much warning or anything, what just happened in New York. I kind of try to look at that, and whenever it starts to rain, I think, well, most times it just rains, right? It rains normal more than it floods. I try to look at it that way, like we go into buildings and we're safe, and we shop and we go around and we're safe more now because there was such an innocence 20 years ago. There was not Homeland Security. There was not all these tracking devices and intelligence, and I just think we just were more innocent. And I think that's gone. I think we're aware of drills and shootings and terror and mass things that can happen. So coming away from the trauma of 911 for everyone, I think people do have a vigilance that we never had before. Um, so, that's all I really want to talk about that, other than I thought, it was very nice service. Okay, so I wanted to share a quick, crochet pattern that you can find at julesandjones.com. And this, Jules is calling the, she's calling this stitch the reverse blanket stitch. Now, and I've heard it called a million different things. Some people call it the reverse crab stitch. Some people call it a reverse shell stitch. Some people call it an asymmetrical shell stitch. And you can do a million things with it. Mostly it makes really cool, light, lacy things. I have, in fact, I don't have it here to show you. But I made a shawl by following mamastitcheryproject.com, Heather Tucker, no foundation, asymmetrical shell blanket. And it's really like a crab stitch. You're just doing like a single crochet or double crochet in reverse. But not really. So it just gives this kind of like movement and shape look going on. It's really cool. Then another name for this stitch is called the keyhole stitch, because you're working all of your stitches into a 2 chain space, and it's a really easy pattern. So this pattern she developed for what's called a blanket sweater shrug, and it's worked up in a multiple of 4. I can't give you the cast on she does for the pattern, but you can go get it there. You do 2 rows to set up, row 1 and row 2, and then you just keep repeating row 2. which is really just easy. So if you wanted this, what I would say is to be a shrug sweater, sort of like a cocoon sweater. It's going to have really loose, breezy sleeves. It's going to keep you warm like a shawl, but then wrap around you like a blanket. Not too much. There are these vertical bars that run between it. And you can change the length of it just by crocheting a little looser with these bars, or tighter by bringing them closer together and making them shorter bars. You can also just add on 4 stitches. Just keep adding 4, 4, 4, 4 to get the size you want. It is a one size fits all and it's kind of loose. Mine has measured out to be 38. Need a measuring tape or ruler. Mine has measured out to be 38 without stretching it. So I'm right here. 38. Which is good for me because I'm going by whatever your bra size is, you guys, pretty much. But then you also want to take your hips into consideration because it's going to go a little bit around your hips. So if you're normally a medium and I'm 36 to 38 and definitely 38 by the time I get to my hips, sometimes 40, just depends. Really, it does. So, depends on how big my stomach wants to stick out that day. So for a small, like if a small, medium, oversized, you're gonna go 36 to 80. So you could just keep counting 4 and make your chain as big as you want it and measure it to that. If I was making this in a medium to large, extra large, I would probably be looking for 48 to 50. If it was a very tall person, Julian Jones is saying after you do your first 2 setup rows, you're just going to keep repeating row 2 82 more times. You could just keep going and make it longer, but just keep in mind when you wash this, you don't really have to wash and block like pin it, but as you wash it, it is going to drape down more and you'll see more of the laciness to it and it'll play with your eyes more. Okay. The way, so you need a tape measure. You also need 2 or 4 place markers, any kind of place markers. So I use these little clippies or a bobby pin or a piece of yarn. I always keep little bobby pins handy, right? In case I drop a stitch when I'm knitting or an area I gotta assemble. You will need either a short, large eye blanche needle or the one I usually use is a larger, like a darning or embroidery upholstery needle blunt, or they sell all kinds now. They sell, I don't think it's here. Yeah, here it is. They sell these in packs of 3 and 4 different sizes. Walmart, Amazon, plastic. Anything that has a large eye that you can get your yarn through. And that's all you really need with that. And then I use a little something, you don't have to, but if you have a little row counter, it comes in handy. Or just a scratch off. With this particular pattern, scissors you'll need. This particular pattern, it's very easy to count your rows. You're just going to count your vertical bars. So if I count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I will be beginning row 14. So just by counting those vertical bars, you can keep up with your row. So I'll be starting 14, or actually, I gotta do that again. I'll be starting 13 because you want to count from the first, your first bar is that foundation row 1 and 2, and then you're just going to count the bars for each row. So the other thing I want to tell you is about gauge with this. It says on the pattern that 4 stitches and 8 rows will give you a 4x4 gauge swatch, or 10 by 10 centimeters. Well, after doing that, after doing 4 stitches and 8 rows, I barely got a quarter of it, not even an inch, right? So I finally figured out, oh, it's in the established pattern. So what it really is for the gauge is 1, 2, 3, 4. Completed in the pattern, right? So, man, 4. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be your 4 stitches. Your 4 waves would be a stitch. And then if you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 down. Count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I have to go from here to here. Yep, I'm good. 4. So you don't want to really stretch it or anything. So that's what you want. I wanted to say that because in reading it, I thought, wait, 4 stitches, 8 rows. I wasn't getting anywhere. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Hi. So you could just add on 4 to make it wider and add more rows, more row 2s to make it longer. The way you assemble it is you're going to have this rectangle, long rectangle. So what you're going to do is take the top part and fold it down, and bottom part and fold it up, right? And then you're going to take your on the outside edge, take your measuring tape and measure in 5 inches. If you want your armholes a little bit bigger, your arms a little looser, less restrictive, it's going to be loose anyways. But if you really want you really want loose, you could go for 5.5. Or if you're somebody that has bigger arms, you can go for 6. 5, 5.5, 6, you gauge. And then this part, of course, is where your arms come out, so you don't sew that part, but then you would sew up this part. You would seam that up. Do the same thing over here. So you would have this little shruggy thing over here, right? Shrug. Now, it's going to scoop around it's either going to scoop right around your bum and your hips, or it's going to, you want to make it long enough so it doesn't look like it's just like right there. Like you're sitting on it, if you have to stretch down or whatever, try to get right below it. So I would say keep measuring it and fold it up, pin it if you have to, and put your arms through it, and just see where you're at. But if you go with the 82, it should. I noticed the model is she's really thin. So if you have any, I would say 20 pounds ago, I was the same size she was. I'm not going to do the small for me. This is a practice one. I'm adding to it. I'm making sure it's 38 inches in width, and I'll probably do about 90 rows. And I'm short, so 82 might be really, I'm 4'11" and 3/4, so almost 5 foot. So you got to take that in consideration. You want to get it just about mid-thigh length so it doesn't just scoop around your butt and stay right there, but it goes down further. Um, it's the other cool thing about this pattern that I want to say really quick is if you go to Jewel and Jones website, um, it does have PDFs for not too expensive, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, not expensive. If you don't get the PDF, there are ads there that she's very transparent about, but she does make videos to show how to do this. So there's a tutorial and even a tutorial with the assembly and the yarn she used. And you can see how when you are gonna wash it, how it's gonna wipe out more, give you more movement and shape. The yarn she used for her project is you get it at Michael's, I believe, loops and thread cotton cream, 4 skeins, and they were 3.5-ounce skeins. So I believe you needed about 1,290 yards. So a comparable yarn that she said was Lion Brand, like but just like butter, or yeah, just like butter, Butta. And it is very comparable. I just bought, I'm waiting for it to get here, but I did all the math and everything. It's comparable. But it's a polyester that works up like a chenille. So you have to kind of just, it's still kind of breezy. So I got 4 skeins in Lion Brand, just like butter. But then the other one that works up beautiful, because I had 1 pound Karen 1 pound yarn. That worked up the gauge beautifully, and it was nice and soft and breezy and a dream to work with. I ordered that in cream. I think just like butter, I got in lemon because that was their cream, which it looked more like like a lemon cream, but not very yellowy. Um, so whatever yarn you decide to use, you can just adjust your needle size. I'm using a 5.0H, which Jewel and Jones recommend. But if you want it more breezy and big, just go up to an I9, which is what this yarn recommends. So what I'm using is Jeans Colors, Lion Brand, 3.5 ounces. And this is for medium worsted weight. It calls for an I9 hook for this and a 4.5 US 7 for knitting. You can put it in the washer and you can put it in the dryer, and it's 100% acrylic. It doesn't feel like acrylic. It feels like the softest cotton I've ever. It's really nice. And this is the color khaki. Let me see if I can get that right. Khaki. It's correct. It's backwards, isn't it? Again. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at it, so it's going to look backwards. And it's colorway 506. It's got the cutest little baby on it. Isn't that cute? I want to make this. And you can make any baby sweater by just increasing the panels. But anyways, there's another sweater on Jewel and Jones website, which is free, and it's an easy beginner sweater, which you make in 5 pieces. You make a back panel, a left and a right panel, and then there's some assembly where you sew that together, and then 2 sleeves, right? But if you wanted to do a pocket, it could be 6 pieces. And she's doing that in all double crochet. I worked out the gauge on that. You could do it in this pattern, and it would work out perfectly, other than the sleeves. You would have to, you could keep the same cast on for this 4x4, same measurements, 36, 38. or a small. It's kind of an oversized cardigan with longer sleeves, but they're loose sleeves. So you could pull them up and you could, do this. They're loose sleeves. Um, and another cardigan, loose over cardigan, the sleeve drapes down, that drop sleeve. And then if you wanted to, with this, I'm gonna go around. It looks like it's never gonna fit as a shrug. It's just right here, right? But it will. But what she's saying is for the blanket shrug sweater, if you don't like the little wavy part that's going to be coming around you here, you could add on a single crochet or a double crochet or a half double crochet, or even like almost even like a ribbing. You could work into the back of the stitch is what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and give it a little bit of like a ribbing border around your collar. And you could do the same thing around the sleeve, because your sleeves are going to be like this. They're going to be this, kind of like almost like a bell shape up here. But I think I'm going to keep that like that because I like the frill of it. But I mean, you really can play with it and do whatever you want. So that's it. That's how you assemble it. And then again, if you wanted to just make up a bunch of panels and assemble them together, you got your cardigan sweater, put a nice pocket on it. I think this would make a nice pocket, like this size right here. I know I have 12 rows. If I wanted to make a pocket, that's how big it would be. It's stretchy. So as far as sleeves go, I would probably go to about here and then fold it. So let's see how this looks. And let's say this together. Yeah, like this. And you would just fold them together. And that would be plenty of sleeve. I would give it probably, I'm on row 12. I would probably do 16 rows for a sleeve. So I'm just, when you go to the website, you'll see, if you scroll down, you'll see Easy Beginner Cardigan, and it is really beautiful, and it does have, it's all just double crochet. But the way it works up assembling it, it looks like the doubles are going slanted on one side and down on the other and up on the other. So it has a lot of shape and movement to it. So she has a lot of great freebies and really creative stuff. So thank you, Jules and Joan. And that's my share for Saturday. I hope everybody's having a really beautiful day. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thanks for hanging in.